Hi, my name is Olga Kupchevska. I'm a VP of Research and Development at MyEtherWallet.com, and I'm happy to be here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to REIMAGINE 2021. This is our sixth event in the last 8 months or so, bringing you nothing but the best projects, bright minds, and leaders in the space. We've been fortunate enough to invite many talented individuals and teams to come speak with us, providing updates, insights, and all the above that's happening in crypto. So I'll be your host today, Adam from the MouseBelt team. We focus on investments, development, education, kind of all the pain points in the industry with the goal of just increasing adoption, use cases, real world applications. At the bottom line is, how can we educate ourselves? How can we educate our viewers on blockchain to really just understand crypto's real impact? So we appreciate all of you tuning in to the REIMAGINE series. For all of our past speakers and interviews, feel free to visit the website at ri2020.io or the YouTube channel at REIMAGINE 2020. We have over, 200 interviews and from all of your favorite projects. So I'm super excited today. We have a returning project, but new guest. So I'm excited to introduce you to Olga from MyEtherWallet. How you doing today, Olga?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining me today. This is our first, interaction between you and I'm super excited to kind of pick your brain a little bit and understand kind of what you guys are doing. We're lucky enough and appreciate you, joining us. So we'll go ahead and kick this off if you don't mind. So, MyEtherWallet is Ethereum's really oldest user-friendly wallet within the ecosystem. It's among the most popular and veteran wallets, for storing ETH and other ERC20 tokens. And we'll get into all that fun stuff. But first, Olga, we have a wide variety of viewers right now, from beginners, novice, experts, students, right, globally. The market's going crazy. Things have been picking up. MyEtherWallet has been around for quite some time, so there's a lot of information, but give us your background. What did you do before crypto, and what led you to crypto, and then ultimately, working with MyEtherWallet now?
Yeah, absolutely. So about a couple years ago, I was actually doing my master's in computer science, and at that point, I would pretty much didn't want to do anything with the blockchain or anything like that. I heard about Bitcoin, and I was like, oh, of course, there's like some weird thing going on, and like this money, and it just, kind of didn't click with me at all. And at some point, my friend introduced me to Ethereum, and I just pretty much was fascinated how different it is and like what you can do, because you obviously, besides the value transfer, you have contracts and you have this other great things happening. And for me, I feel like that's what clicked the most, is because I'm originally Russian, and a lot of the times I would send money to my parents, or back and forth and stuff like this, and you would be surprised how much it costs to actually just do a normal transaction through a bank, and it doesn't matter. I remember at that point it was minimum $50 fee from some American bank, and then there will be fees on top in Russia, and it was just kind of like this crazy situation. You have to wait for 3 to 5 days, and yeah, it was just kind of like a mess. And the idea that you can just go somewhere without anybody, without a centralized entity, and just transfer your value. And then on top of it, you have other tokens, or you have other things going on. And it just kind of basically changed my entire perception of what is blockchain and what the benefits of decentralized systems. And at that point on, I just pretty much just switched my entire religion and became an Ethereum enthusiast. Yeah.
And what year was this? So what year did you kind of get introduced? So I think Bitcoin obviously was in 2008 and 9. I came across it randomly. I come from the bank, so I came across it in 2013. This guy was wiring $100,000. A customer was wiring $100,000 to buy Bitcoin. I'm like, what are you buying? Is this real? And then I started looking into it, but I didn't get super involved. But what year were you starting to figure out more of the space?
That's a good question. Yeah. I feel like around maybe 2017, around that time, because this is when I was still in doing my master's, and I mean, of course, I mean, I heard about it and like I've
For
heard
sure.
like, how it works, but then of course it's just like in from technological standpoint. At that point, I was really into machine learning and into data science and all sorts of things. So it kind of like I feel like everybody was into that at that time, and that's why like I didn't really have much interest in again in blockchain, but and then maybe like I mean I've heard before this. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I heard before the 2017, but like in 2017, well, that's when it clicked, and
definitely.
probably I think a year later, 2 years later, I started working with MEW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everybody has an interesting journey of how they fell into it, how they came across it. And what about your professors? Like, this, I think Ethereum came out in 2014. And were your professors talking about it and like your other, classmates while you were in school?
Actually, I mean, not much at all as I remember, because especially I did my master's project on Ethereum scalability, and it was really hard because pretty much none of my professors knew much about it, and a lot of the times I would just go and float in on my own, and it was like no advice I could ask about. But a lot of the times, I mean, I could see that people were, I mean, they were, of course, they knew basics of it, they knew like how it works, but not as not of the benefits that it can actually have for like people and
Yeah. No, and I only kind of talk about some of this in all of my interviews is only because, there's a lot of people getting into the space. There's a lot of, existing people that have been following the space, whatever the time period is. Mm-hmm. And we have students coming up, right? And sometimes they feel like they're too late to the game or they don't understand it. But like a lot of us took, some time to get acclimated. Like it sounded cool, right? It sounded cool. What is it? I don't understand it. And I think, especially during this conference, we try to shed light on, not everybody gets it right at first until they do a little bit more reading or they watch interviews, to hear other people's like experiences of how they came across it and like what they're doing now. You're VP at MEW now, which is great. And so we can kind of get into, what is MEW? There's a lot of information. There's some YouTube, so people can go back. But, from the wallet perspective, there's desktop, there's web, there's paper. Like what separates MEW in terms of the other wallets, and then like what are you guys? How do you guys separate yourself from kind of the competitiveness?
Well, first of all, MyEtherWallet is their user interface to interact with the Ethereum blockchain, and I know I've heard a lot about some people say we're a web wallet, but I think this term is incorrect because we actually do not store your funds. We do not have access to funds. We don't have pretty much any way of seeing like what you have and how much and all those sorts of things. But what we're literally just a GUI that for you to access your wallets, and like wallets like hardware wallets, like paper wallets, mobile wallets, and all sorts of things that's out there. We basically, if it's there, we try to support it, and even if it's not there now, maybe tomorrow it'll be there. But pretty much what we allow is people to access your wallet, and then you can go and sell ETH. You can buy tokens. You can manage NFTs. We also have great support for DeFi. We have multiple Dapps integration. We have decentralized exchanges support, and that's pretty much what we do. Usually, normal wallets, like if you thinking like if a person would be asked what is a wallet, it's like you would think again as like a hardware wallet or a mobile wallet or a paper wallet, as I mentioned earlier. Those are literally just a means of storing your private key rather than actually having an access to your wallets, like to the actual interface. And obviously they all differ in different security and how easy it is again to actually interact with your money. But I feel like this is what we are, this is what we do. And one of the ways that we kind of stand out towards our other competitors is, again, we don't store your keys. We're very secure as long as you actually use correct storage, like hardware wallets or mobile wallets. We pretty much try to have as more innovations as possible. We try to integrate all the features that are out there, like staking or any app that people are trying to interact with right now. And one of I feel like the biggest thing is we're also open source. So if you believe that we might steal your money, all our code is actually online and you can go and verify it. It's actually been seen by thousands of people, and we take pride in it because we want it to be, secure and make sure that people are safe to interacting with Ethereum.
Yeah, exactly. And you touch on a few key points there, and one of them is security, and then the other one is kind of the web interface. Why do you, and we'll get into this later. Again, you did bring up some like integrations and kind of the other features, and we'll touch on those because I think those are super important. And why do you think the interface, when everybody else was building the various wallets, paper, web, desktop, whatever the case may be, why do you think MEW took this kind of approach as an interface, as opposed to some of the other solutions that were maybe coming up in the last few years?
Well, I feel like this is kind of just started as basically was the reason why the MyEtherWallet.com was created. Is our founder at that point, he basically saw that if you wanted to actually interact with Ethereum, you would have to download a Geth client or any Ethereum client, create a wallet and command line, and then, from in there, you will, in old school way, you will have to try to figure out how to send transaction, how to send the value, and to do anything pretty much, which is extremely difficult for a normal user, or not just a normal user, I would say for anybody who doesn't even understand what is a command line. And I feel like this was like the main reason how it started out to be. And what we have now is we're trying to be as easy and as accessible to everybody to make sure that pretty much anyone can interact with any wallet out there that you have, or you purchased, or you have acquired in some way, and you can actually do something with it rather than just sit on your money somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's very important to note, right? Like the ups and downs of crypto, and we're still kind of, battling some of those UI UX, features and decisions to help adoption and streamline kind of how we use these things. Because we're so used to centralized systems, and we just give up everything for the price we pay is we give up everything in exchange for, kind of logging in rather seamlessly. But obviously there's various attacks and hacks, and we're giving up our data constantly for our own kind of like, I don't know if it's a benefit, but it it helps, and we're going to take that back a little bit. So what kind of users do you guys target? Meaning, do you guys focus on like the masses, institutions, Dapps, or like what kind of target market? It might be all of them, but what kind of target market do you guys try to play to?
I really don't like the word the masses, but I guess this is would be the target market if you want to put it in boring business term. But I feel like our users, again, is defined in our mission, which is make it easy and accessible to everyone, which obviously implies the masses at this point. But again, I feel like this is important because what Ethereum has to offer is just only great things, and we would like to have everybody to actually learn about Ethereum and to be able to interact with it, because there's still people trying to figure out what is it and how do I invest. Like I think a couple of weeks ago, my friend texted me and she's like, "Oh, my dad, trying to invest. Like, can you help me and like try to figure out like this and this and this?" And I wrote her like almost like an essay on like different things on different wallets. What is an exchange? What is a custodial, non-custodial? And at this point, I feel like it's very important to educate your users between the difference, because this is what we kind of stand for, is to make it easier for everybody to understand, right? I know a lot of people come in, they just, I just want to buy Ether, and they go straight to a centralized exchange, they purchase it, and I'm like, well, you just bought something, but then, you don't understand the implication why you did this. And this is kind of what we're striving for, is to make everybody understand how easy it is and what the benefits of it are.
And how do you think, as an industry, we're in 2021 now, things have been going great the last few years in terms of innovation and like building and heads down and promoting or marketing like what we're all working on, showcasing stuff like that. Like, are we in a good spot in terms of what you just mentioned? You just had a friend, reach out to you. I have like friends reaching out to me, family now. They see it in the news of like things that are being positive signs, really. Are we like, in a good spot in terms of, like you said, people kind of understanding it? Or are we still at the beginning stages of,
I still feel we're at the beginning. There's no way, because again, people right now, they still interested in what like the monetary value of our Ethereum can do to you. But in the end of the day, there's still a lot of people don't understand that there is such an idea of decentralized finance that you can actually, Ethereum can give you access to. And we're still trying to, again, let the word get out there and just let people know how to use it safely, how to make how to be safe, even, even in the normal, internet systems, like when you use your, a browser extension wallet, and at this point trying to interact with some other websites, you might be phishing, all sorts of things. And oh my God, I'm sorry. I lost my trail of thought. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean,
I feel like I can redo this question.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Like, I think, it's definitely just kind of, there's still a learning curve. We're in this bubble, and my question was just kind of, are we in a good spot? I think we are in a good spot. Is there a lot to learn more for everybody else? Definitely. Is there a lot to learn more even within the industry, like, right, to make it better? And I noticed that, MEW plays like a vital component in this space. And what I noticed on the website is like, you guys really try and support Dapps. And I want to maybe touch on that a little bit based off of your experience and understanding like why that's important. Because it does go into like understanding how to use crypto. And then you guys are working with other Dapps. And what's the goal there to work with like, the Dapp ecosystem relating to MEW?
Well, there's obviously several goals and benefits of them. The first one is, again, we kind of promoted mass adoption, because will give you different options of what you can do and method of access. Because a lot of the times, all the Dapps, when you go in there, they will have normal access, like your mobile wallet or browser extension. But at the same time, there are tons of users who still have, in a sad way, they still have their paper wallets, or they still have, or even they have the hardware wallets. They just don't have the ability to support. And we, again, would like to offer everybody this ability. And another thing is, besides actually mass adoption, I feel like there's so many great projects out there. There's so many great things they're doing, hardworking people, and I feel like they just need exposure. We have tons of users, and we're trying to bring as many users as possible. And everybody, deserves to be known out there, especially because I feel like this can promote a great competition. And without competition, there's no innovation. And it's kind of like this loop of things that you need to overlook. And I feel like we just striving to achieve all of that.
Yeah, and I think, so what does the process look like? So there's all these up and coming projects, right, built on Ethereum. So they would just kind of integrate MEW into their project, and now MEW users obviously have access to this project, and then the user not only has access to project A, but their past projects, and they have it all in one spot. Is that kind of the process, the flow?
We have several things, and I feel like the first thing I want to talk about is we have MEW Connect, which is Maybe some people out there heard about this such thing as Wallet Connect. The funny thing is, both projects, we started them at the same time, and I remember they were released at the same conference, which was ridiculous. We had no idea this was happening, but obviously this is a connection protocol, which now you have your mobile application, our for example, MEW Wallet, and you can connect to, we try to reach out to as many dApps as possible to integrate, and then all you have to do is just scan on your wallet, your QR code, and you are then and there. Another thing that we're doing is we're actually working on version 6 right now of MyEtherWallet.com, and this has been a very long-term project. And one of the things that we're trying to do is to make integrations much more simple and faster. What we kind of noticed is a lot of the times when we talk with some that project, is a lot of the times, of course, they understand the functionality, but at the same time, the UI is still complicated. Even the wording is not easy enough for the user to understand. And this is kind of what we're trying to be solving, is just to make it easier and to be kind of just friendly in general, and just to make it easier to understand for the users. And this is what we've been striving for a long time. We're creating this like library, so when next time if someone comes in, they just literally just do a PR on GitHub and use their UI library that we prepared for them, and just put their functionality in, and it's then and there at that point.
Yeah, and I mean, you can kind of consider it as a standard, right? Like somewhat of a standard, like,
yeah.
And that's so important, and that's why I kind of asked that question, because the usability, like the composability aspect of MEW Connect, right? With apps and dApps, and I mentioned at the beginning of this, kind of the way that we operate now in kind of the landscape in tech now, right? In Web 2.0, I guess. We're used to that, but we don't quite have that in Web 3.0. But it seems like what you're doing, where you're adding value, is really a network effect of like, I'm this user. Hopefully, my experience here is similar, to all these other dApps and projects, and not too like challenging, or like so many like different barriers. So that's kind of what I like, and that's kind of what I wanted to highlight, right? We have all these all these viewers tuning in to like figure out what you're doing, and then like what we're all working on to make it better for our families to use, so we don't get as many calls on how to onboard from A to B, right? And so there's a lot of innovation, especially obviously in blockchain crypto. There's innovation all the time, from month to month, quarter to quarter. It moves rather fast. Like, how do you guys determine at a high level, like UI UX, versus features, and then like decisions that you think are better, as far as even just kind of technology stacks and stuff like that? Like what goes into those thoughts to, should we do it this way or this way? This affects our users, one way, but if we build it this way, like this is what we need, but it's still challenging. Like, how do you determine, the strategy there as you move forward?
Well, I mean, obviously we have a long-term strategy, what we're trying to achieve, but a lot of the times there are some things that just come in and we literally make a decision within 24 hours, and we just start working on an integration. And this was kind of in terms of the recent integration we've done with Staked, because obviously this was something that was available out there, but there was still an issue that you had to go and create the ETH 2.0 address, and you had to download, again, the old school way. You had to download the client, and then you had to do it in command line and create your own wallet. And we saw the problem right then and there, because we knew that tons of people would want to have the option to stake and support the future of Ethereum. And at that point, it was just not there. And I think it took us 3 weeks, and we just did the integration with Staked, and we created the way for you to create a wallet for JSON file, and so now we have the support for that. But of course, a lot of the times when it comes to features, we spend a great deal on internally arguing and trying to figure out the best way of, in terms of how to solve UI issues, because no matter what, we're still talking to the normal people out there who
the community.
Different, yeah.
And thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to say, like, a lot of these discussions are heavy internally to like figure out the next step. Yeah. How do you include the community? Is there feedback? You have forums?
Well, it's actually done in different ways. We do, we have a Reddit community that's out there. And a lot of the times we have a great team who monitors it, and pretty much, I feel like they are the experts in our users because they understand them the most. At the same time, we do product research occasionally through Twitter, through any other sorts of means. I mean, I would like to do as more research as possible and gather more information as possible, but unfortunately, again, just as our mission, like as I said, we don't collect any data, and we're not even allowed to see how many times the feature was used, because obviously for security reasons we don't do this, and it's kind of sad. But a lot of the times is talking to the users and doing as much research as possible and trying to see what's other options out there. Not even like similar options, but just to see what like people want to do and see. Yeah.
And you brought up like the staking aspect of it, which is another added feature for the user. Maybe you can elaborate on that, right? Like Ethereum was a proof of work and now they're switching over. How has that transition been? It seems like it's, going from, proof of work to proof of stake. It's cool that you already have the infrastructure to just kind of add some things, but really providing benefits for the user to stake, right?
The ETH 2.0 and the Beacon chain are working towards a bigger goal, right? To make it more scalable, to make it more faster. So, transaction fees are lower and you can send transactions faster because you have short chains that work with the Beacon chain. But again, the benefits besides this is, if you think about right now, when you talk about mining, you have to have a lot of money pretty much to do that.
A lot of rigs, computers.
A lot of rigs, yeah. And it's just kind of like, the point of this is not true decentralization, because you have to be rich. It's like the same as for me when I heard about Libra some time ago when the Libra came out, and they said that maybe I'm wrong, please don't take me up on this, but I believe they said you need to have $1 million to become a miner. And this was just
what happened?
Yeah, it was just weird to me, because I feel like the blockchain, what stands for decentralization, and here you don't have that at all. And with staking, again, you're able to be your own miner. You're able to make do the good for the community and validate blocks, validate transaction. On top of it, you're actually going to be earning money for doing that. And I feel like this is a great opportunity. It's still expensive because it's still 32 ETH, but it's still more easy to do this rather than having a mining rig somewhere.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's definitely going to help out, kind of the space a little bit as far as staking, earning, having some skin in the game, providing a lot of benefits that way for all parties involved. And I've noticed like the user experience from the feedback that we see on MEW and all that is obviously very positive. Longest, you guys were the first ones, veterans, to come out with this product in the past. And I've noticed like you guys obviously continue like to expand partnerships, with like, I don't know, in the past, like, Kyber Network and like Changely, like some other teams, right? How important is that too? Like, what does that do when you start expanding into various types of, exchanges or like swaps and being able to get other tokens and maneuver, at least from a user standpoint?
Well, the most recent, not the most recent, but I feel like the partner in exchange terms was the Dapps AG, which is an aggregator for decentralized exchanges. And I feel like this was a very important step for us, because we do now have we can offer users more options. First of all, how to swap, where to swap, how much fee to swap. And if today was an article released in, I believe it was CoinDesk, where they talked about that now actual centralized exchanges do not even have that much Ether on them compared to a couple of years ago. And obviously it means that a lot of people are moving them to decentralized exchanges. And I feel like, again, just talking about it, it's important to note that this is what the Ethereum community has been striving to do, is to be more decentralized rather than have the centralized entities controlling your money and funds. And this was a very important step. In addition, besides the decentralization aspect of it, we have, I mean, we obviously had options, but with decentralized exchanges, but we didn't have like a bigger options what we have now. And for example, when we released our mobile app, we spent probably a couple months before we actually released the integration with DexEG, but now it's very easy for the users to swap and perform, and basically just finding with better rates and try to be basically just make it more usable for them to have the option.
Yeah. Definitely very important. And you know, we've been talking about a lot of the good things, right? Kind of in the Ethereum ecosystem, what you're doing, what others are doing, the composability aspects of building on top of things, and obviously the DeFi boom, allowing, you know, a lot of smart contract, you know, innovation and like operationally, like between peer-to-peer stuff, and everything's great. But you are the key to like the Ethereum ecosystem. You're all in, you know, into the network. There've been various concerns, and some of them they're tackling as far as scalability, gas costs, you know, the Ethereum killers out there. Like, how do you view these challenges when planning for the future? You're all in Ethereum. So like, do those, you know, bear any weight, or are you just kind of long-term vision in terms of like, that's fine, we'll work them out?
Well, one of the things is, again, is the how we view the future in general. Is we see that obviously Ethereum Foundation is working to ETH 2.0 to make it more scalable with introduction of the shard chain. In addition to all of that, because I know gas prices are going up now, we're in talks with several layer 2 solutions, trying to figure out what's best and basically solve the UI issues together, because this is the main problem, is explaining what does it mean to the user to move it from Ethereum to second layer, because we still have users thinking that MyEtherWallet is its own chain rather than it's not Ethereum, and so like this. And we've been working a lot and trying to figure this out together. And I feel like it does not. I strongly believe that this will be solved. It's just we have to spend a little bit of time, and we will get there. And I know the gas costs are a little high, but it happens pretty much every time the price goes up, as far as I remember in history. And we're at the point when the price is up again, which is great news. But at the end of the day, gas costs are a little high.
And right now you only hold ETH and ERC20 tokens. Do you think you will open up to like cross chains or like other, I don't know, like other EVM kind of compatibility, Polkadot, or some of these other ones, Harmony? Do you see a clear path there 5 years, 10 years down the road where it's not just Ethereum kind of tokens?
Well, I would like to say that as of right now, we are focusing completely on Ethereum. And the reason, again, because we strongly believe in successful, like how the chain will be. But at the same time, we do still understand that people are interested in other chains. And one of the things that we've done recently, for example, we start working on integrations for bridge solutions. And one of them was RentBridge, which allows you to transfer the value from Bitcoin to Ethereum. At the same time, what we're trying to do is we're trying to educate users about the idea that you can still have the coins that are pretty much equivalent, the same value. Because a lot of the time what we notice is that when people moving from Ethereum to Bitcoin is they're trying to get that value rather than actually, understanding the difference. Like, I just want to own Bitcoin. The idea is you can actually rent BTC. You can actually hold the rent BTC while you are on Ethereum chain. At the same time, you only paid a smaller fee, and you actually hold Bitcoin at this point, but you can still interact. You can still buy other tokens if you want to, like back to Ethereum. You want to swap something, you can interact with the different contracts. You can interact with DeFi, and you're still kind of in the same ecosystem rather than just jumping completely off to a different bridge to a different blockchain and losing what Ethereum has to offer.
Yeah, no, that's interesting, and I've always just thought about that. A lot of discussion is around interoperability and kind of like there's tons of bridges being built on various chains right now, and you can find those through bounty programs and grant programs, to swap in and out of various tokens, which I think is important. I think everybody needs to focus, or everybody is focusing on their core protocols and products and services to make them better, and then at the same time kind of starting to build other aspects of cross-chain like interoperability, which is great. So I know we're kind of running up on time here. What do you have anything like for these students that are looking to jump into blockchain? Like, you had an interesting kind of journey into it. What would you say to some of these students? Like, where should they learn about blockchain? Is it Twitter? Should they bring it up more at the university level, or just kind of hands-on, do your own research and dig into it because there's tons online?
Well, I was in a situation where I had to do my own research, unfortunately. And to be honest, it's not an unfortunate situation, and I tend to learn a lot, and there's tons of resources out there. If you just try to understand and learn more, we're very open. If you go to our Reddit page or even Twitter and Telegram us, and we will try to explain to you, teach you, and basically just make you more aware and better person in the end. And but of course, there are some things that you can. I would advise you just listen to interesting people, what people have to say, and trying to see what interests you in there. And I feel like there's a lot of misconception right now that if you want to be in Ethereum, you have to be a developer, and that's completely not true. There are tons of careers out there that are open in marketing, PR, and social, even in social media and writing, and there's just great things out there. And I would say go and try to look for even like open positions, because a lot of projects will be very happy to hire you and teach you about it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I've mentioned that too, where like there's so many positions and roles in blockchain that you don't necessarily have to be a coder or developer to like understand it. I think all of our mission right now is turning Web 2.0 devs into Web 3.0, offering products and technology innovations for like Web 3.0 to kind of continue developing. But I see in the whole space, marketing, business development, partnerships, community growth, very, very community driven in terms of how you can connect with people, how can you partner up, because those are like very important aspects for us to kind of succeed in the long run. And I think for a lot of these students tuning in to figure out like, maybe blockchain is not for me, like I'm not technical enough. I think there's a lot of information where you can become technical, you can have enough technical skill, but bring in your other skill sets from what your previous employer, what you've built up so far, because I think for all of us, we wear so many hats. I'm sure you do too, right?
Oh, I still feel sometimes that I, lack in something, and because every day there's something new, and you have to you're scrambling trying to learn it, and then you kind of try to always catching up. And there's always there's a never-ending idea that I have to learn about blockchain in general in here, and I feel like this is kind of what comes in the industry. And even if you don't know anything, just try little by little, and one day it'll be comfortable.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think, there's a lot of underestimation that we all just know this, but it's an emerging tech. Although, blockchain cryptography, like distributed systems, right? That's been around for years. Protocols and, the internet protocols, and now we're kind of in this type of environment, and it's definitely, has this momentum, but we're all just trying to put it together, and things like, I think things are moving in the right direction for all of us. But I just want to thank you again for coming on to Reimagine, giving us your time, sharing your insights, thoughts, and like telling us how Mew's like evolving, what you guys are working on, and what your mission and objectives are. So I thank you for coming.
Well, it was very pleasant to be here.
So so thank you. So today we had Olga Kupchevska, VP of MyEtherWallet. Did I say your last name right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Close enough. All right. Yeah. Where can people find you if to read about it, follow up, learn?
I am on Twitter, but I'm not very active, to be honest, and I just because I spend a lot of time working, and I guess I have no time to do that. But I check it. So if you even if you want to reach out to me, you can always go to MyEtherWallet Twitter, and the message will definitely get to me at some point. So
Thank you. For all of you tuning in to Reimagine 2021, we appreciate you watching this interview. Hopefully you learned a little bit about wallets, the various wallets out there, how MEW is supporting adoption, use cases, applications, all the above. And those are so important right now, especially as we continue to mature in this space. So I think that's all we have for you today. You can find this, if you missed this interview, you can find this on the Reimagine YouTube channel. And again, Olga, thank you for coming out, and we hope to have you back.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a good one. Thank you.